If being me is easy from where you stand, seeing it's believing from where I am. Try being me if you think you can. You think I got it easy. Try being me. Anything you do, I did before. I did it all before you. So much more. Everything you see, I already saw. You want something new to see. Try being me.
It's kind of funny, I think. So like, you know, I think that most Asian Americans, when they're looking out, they don't see themselves as being Asian. But the thing is, you can't escape the fact that when everybody sees you, they see an Asian, you know? Even though a lot of people sit down and say, I'm an American. It's like, yeah, you're an American, but you're also Asian. You just can't get away from it.
Awesome!
The nerdy Asian.
The smart Asian guy, the math guy. They have this picture of like an Asian guy holding a math book, and it says, what would like an Asian do? Like WWAD instead of what would Jesus do?
A so-called ghetto Asian.
Hardcore Asian. Quick with my car friends, bangs, slick them back, and you got like the Integras lower, the big exhaust.
In movies, you see them, like you either see an Asian portrayed as a nerdy person, a ghetto person, or this person who just came to America and they're trying to, you know, establish themselves in the new world and they don't speak English. So.
I see it and I am offended because, you know, I am Chinese and I am Asian, and so it's a big part of me, but you know, I don't really get into the details and try to fight it. You know, I just kind of like, oh, that isn't right, whatever, I just won't deal with it.
I mean, I wish people would stop asking me, oh, so do you speak Chinese, or oh, does your family, you know, eat dogs or something, you know? I wish people would stop saying that, but it doesn't really offend me. It actually kind of makes me feel sorry for people who have this skewed perception of Asian Americans, because that just shows their ignorance.
And it's not like it's like some kind of conspiracy or anything. It's just they just don't have the exposure. I mean, if you're some guy living in the middle of Montana and you've never actually met an Asian person before in your life, you sit down in a bar, they'll actually come up to you and ask you like, hey, so do you know any karate, martial arts? And it's like, you know, if you do that out here, it's like a major faux pas. You're like, oh my god, I know he didn't, you know. But if you're in Montana, that does happen.
I mean, I encounter the stereotypes, but I think today people are really kind of open about, you know, the stereotypes. So, you know, my friends might joke around like, oh, Blake, you know, you're Asian, you know, and stuff like that. Oh, you're a smart guy, but you know, it's really a joke. They know who I really am.
I'll be honest, you know, I've made jokes just like anybody else has, you know, and you do it among your friends. But that's like one thing, because you know, there's people you've known for years, and you guys know enough about each other, so that's okay.
Maybe people in general. Maybe even the Asian, you know, society itself. Because really, I realize that it's most of my Asian friends that we make all the stereotype jokes, because, you know, we know them all. You know, it's not really my white friends going like, oh, you're Asian. You know, maybe that's because they're white and they're like, well, they can't say anything about that.
Yes, we basically fuel these stereotypes because the media can show us all these images of Asian people and being nerdy or ghetto or the fobs, but unless we actually internalize them and sort of play them out in real life, it wouldn't have any effect. They can show us these images and we just go on being who we are, or we can sort of play up to these stereotypes. And so it's a combination between the both, them showing it to us, us sort of imitating it, and so it just kind of goes back and forth. I mean, as a teen, you're already trying to figure out who you are, and this is just a crazy time in your life when nothing really makes sense and you don't fit in anywhere. And being Asian American sort of adds to that pressure.
The fact that you look different from everybody else, and then your parents may speak with an accent, and those type of things can be hard on trying to like feel accepted, you And so a lot of kids try to like ignore anything about their ethnicity because they want to try and like fit in better with whoever it is that they're, you know, going to school with.
I think the word has a negative connotation. It's like, oh, you're whitewashed, you know. But I think the idea really isn't negative.
You're blending the two cultures, and because you're growing up in a white American society, that's automatically influences who you are. So that's just another facet of who you are. You can be Asian and you can be American together, and that doesn't have to be a bad thing.
I think that it's bad in the sense that like if you're rejecting a side of you, that's not good, you know? But as far as embracing, you know, the culture around you and where you live and, you know, adjusting for it and compensating, that's something that you have to do. That's just a necessary social survival skill that you have to have.
And I just wish that Asian teens would sort of be more open to both cultures.
I mean, they're American citizens, so they should know American history, but, you know, really, genetically, you know, they're Asian, so they should at least, you know that where they came from and just how, you know, their ancestors, maybe the relatives, and how, you know, they grew up. Just so, even though as time goes on, everyone's going to get more and more and more American, you know, the kids should understand where their parents are coming from and how they grew up and, you know, what life was like for them.
It's not just DNA, blood, or whatever that they passed on to you, but there's an entire history behind there, and there's an entire world of things that I think that you're missing out on.
Realize that it's not either or. That's why we're Asian American, because we're Asian, but we're also American, and so you can blend the two cultures. It's okay. It's not something to be ashamed of. Just be proud of who you are, an Asian American teen.